Hello, everybody. This is Mandy at Laugh and Grackle. We are going to be having my transparent tonight, so let's get started because this one's a doozy.
Justice upright. This card carries the scales, which is the balance of our souls between doing things that are right and doing things that needs retribution, but there's another symbol here. The double-edged sword which balances those scales for us to live a sacred life. The sword is about the delivery of said justice, but again depends on which side of the sword that you see this from. Where some will see the delivery of justice, others will see it as injustice. The magician upright. This is about the creation of life. Either it be the symbols of the red and white dragons, being the blood of the mother and seed of the father, or the multitude of representatives of fire, ice, sun, moon, but no matter how it is depicted, it holds the ingredients of creation in its being. The Hierophant upright. This is the representative of old knowledge, in the image of the old oak tree, with deep roots, strong branches, and the rings of its life showing the passing of time. This also represents the spiritual knowledge of the tree, with its leaves reaching to the heavens and the roots taking hold and remaining steadfast in the earth, showing strength in our origins. Combined. The bringing of justice to others is the bringing of knowledge of everyone's soul's journeys and their experiences in life. For some, the sword comes too late or not at all, bringing up harsh feelings for the ones who sees injustice. But the magician is able to make miracles happen by the creation of opening minds, hearts, and eventually change in the world. The Hierophant takes those harsh historical moments and brings the passing of time, spiritual knowledge of others, exposing the existence of those deep roots, and the ever-renewing of nutritional strength of the Earth's core, bringing around awareness of ourselves to change those things that we seen in the past, making change from pain into how we treat others for the better from now and into our future.
This particular read has gotten a lot of symbolism in it, so bear with me with this. Justice. This is the scales of justice, and this is the balance between the doing right and doing wrong. And whenever we have this kind of thing, it also it depends on which side you're seeing it on. It's perspective. That those scales will tip to one side or the other. Now, the double-edged sword. This is the delivering of that justice. That you've already had the weighing with justice. Now, this is the sword is the one that carries it out. And like I said, that depends on which side of the sword you're on. And some people will say it's justice, some people would say it's injustice. Now, the magician. I am so sorry. I don't know what in the world's going on with my head tonight. The magician. This is about the creation of life. Now, the red and white dragons it could be a multiple type of thing. Some say it's the blood of the mother, and the seed of the father, or it's the fire and ice, the sun and moon, so it's not like set in stone with that. But the whole thing about the magician is, he's holding the ingredients of creation. And, with that, it's bringing it into existence. The Hierophant. Now, this imagery is of an old oak tree. It's got the really deep roots, it's got the strong branches, and the rings of its life. And the tree actually shows us, how it is for, having this deep knowledge of our being. Think about it. How long can a tree live if you don't cut it down? It can live forever almost. And this is what this card is depicting. Is, we've got the leaves, it's trying to get that spiritual knowledge, reaching towards the heavens. And, the root is what holds the tree. And, those roots have got to be strong to be able to hold that tree up. Especially, if it remains getting more and more rings. Now, this is showing, the strength of our origins. Now, with all of these, the way that I am thinking of it is, in order to bring justice to other people, we first have to know about each other. We have to understand each other's journey to, know what, history tells us, what, how we can know how to do this. The sword, in certain instances, the sword comes too late. With, slavery, with the Holocaust. We've got so many different stories where the justice comes too late. And that brings up a lot of harsh feelings when those people, see it as injustice because of, that it comes too late. But here's the thing. The magician makes miracles happen because he has, the way to make creation, because he has both the red and the white dragon. And whenever those miracles happen, it opens up our minds, our hearts. And, what happens whenever you're changing the minds and hearts of people? You start changing the world, because you're able to go into these histories and knowing their, where they come from. And, the Hierophant, he takes, all of that history and all of those things that, that has happened in our past, and through the passing of time, and understanding the spiritual knowledge of others, knowing where their roots came from, and, finding the strength through our roots, we become aware of ourselves. And whenever we do that, we can't change what happened in the past, but you can change where you go from here. And, this is what I think this is actually really trying to get to, is, whenever we're aware of ourselves, we change the way we interact with people. And to sit there and to get that going can help change, that pain from the past into how we treat each other from here and going into our future. And, that's where we're going to make the change, because of the passing of time and seeing, what others have gone through, how they've been treated, how they've been, redone, basically. And, being able to say, I can't do anything about that, but I can do something about this. And that's where we're going to have the changes really start to make connections. So we are going to be having our soul coaching and our STEM class tomorrow. So come on back and see me, do like and shares, and I'll see you guys then.